Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today with another Truth in Life episode. Today, we're going to discuss a little bit about abuse and mental health. Okay. Um, I wanted to share a number of things that I've personally encountered and have experienced, not so much me being abused, but over the years of ministry and counseling and helping people. Um, I've been in the crux of their abusive situations. Okay. Before we get started, please click on the like, share this video for more content so I can continuously bring more information to you guys and so we can get more subscribers. Thank you for that. So, truth in life. And again, this is regarding being abused and getting mental health strengthened. Okay. Excuse me. So, recently, was in the ER, and so this is gonna first go with the story of the ER nurse that I call her. Uh, well, I don't call her. She gave me the name. She called herself Mrs. Jekyll from Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde, right? So, from her perspective, she wanted to share with me for whatever reason. Now mind you, I'm in the ER. I'm coming to get medical help and assistance. Um, and for whatever reason, she was drawn to me and Marcine to as a couple. And she came up to us and she's like, "How long have you guys been married?" And we said, 18 years. They was like, "Wow." She was like, "Okay, okay." She said, "Yeah, I've been married for 25 years." I said, "Well, congratulations." I wasn't sure where she was going, but it didn't matter. I was there to get assistance. But as God always takes moments to try to help everybody, including myself, help others, this is one of the things that He's always done with me. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. Um, um, so, Nurse Mrs. Jekyll proceeded to explain how she um, first got introduced to her husband and how she started dating this guy and she wanted to share who she is, and I believe that she wanted to share her story because she was looking for help and she saw something in me that she wanted to be vulnerable and share her story to get help, but she didn't ask for help directly. Okay. So she proceeded to say, um, how she met her husband, boyfriend at the time, and he was trying to pursue her. And she said, "Look, you don't want to get with me. All right. I don't play games. I don't mess around. I'm not the one you want to mess with." Okay. She told him, and he was pursuing her. "Oh, come on, girl, holla at your boy." So she was like, "Listen, I am deaf, and you don't want to step into this with me." Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the wonderful quote by Maya Angelou, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to extrapolate something else from it. Take it as what they have shown you because they're telling you the truth up front. Believe them. And the Lord will always give you a window of escape if you look for it, if you receive it, and follow after it. He will give you a window of escape, and you must escape. If not, in the words of Mrs. Jekyll, you will succumb to death fooling with her. So she was like, be a man about your business. I'm going to be a woman about my business. Go ahead, leave me alone. Okay? She gave him a choice. Now, from her perspective, giving a choice is doing the thing that God gives us. God gives us choices. Okay? So, from her perspective, she's following a principle to give any and every man a choice to leave her alone or get dealt with in the way that she's going to deal with them, which was going to be very, very harsh. That was her angle. That was her decision. That was her mindset. Okay, so I was like, okay, where are we going with this? I said, okay, nurse, continue. So what happened? Did your husband flee? She said, no, I told you we've been married for 25 years. I said, you're right. You did say that. So why didn't he flee? She said, well, he thought it was something about her that intrigued him. It intrigued him that she was so forthright, forthcoming, and direct. I said, and I asked her this question. I said, did he look at you and take it as a challenge? Because that's what most men do. She said, well, yes, initially. I said, so he didn't believe you? She said, no, he didn't. I said, okay. So what did you do to perceive and to show him that this is what you're going to get? So, oh, nurse Nurse Jekyll, she showed him her 45 caliber pistol and said, "Listen, if you mess with me, you start messing with me, this is what you're going to get if you betray me." She said death is who she is and she doesn't play the games. Okay? She was able to share that with him, get past that point, and eventually she decided to allow him in a little bit further. Okay. After she gave him his choice, he started walking in with her. After showing the gun, they eventually got married at a young age. She proceeded to tell me that she's Baptist, he's Muslim. Okay. I said, wait, how is this going to work? She said, it's been working for 25 years. She kept her Baptist tradition. He stayed with his Muslim tradition. Okay. She said, one day he told her that you do know that it's okay for me to lightly beat you. Now, why did he tell this woman this? She had already told him that she is death. She has already shown him her 45 caliber pistol. And you present this to her for what? Okay. So she said, no, that can't be right. And so she went to her sister that was a Muslim and she asked her, she said, Sister, may I ask you a question? My husband, newly husband, told me that it's in the Holy Quran that it's okay for husbands to beat their wives lightly. And she said, yes, sister, it is in the Holy Quran. She said, where is it? Can you? She said, it's in the Holy Quran, chapter 4, verse 34. And it states this that men should beat their wives lightly if they fear disloyalty or ill conduct. Okay? The verse also says that the men should first admonish women, then refuse to share their beds, and finally beat them lightly. Okay? However, if the women return to obedience, if they return to obedience, according to the man's judgment, threshold, level of understanding, the verse says that the men should not seek means of annoyance against them and basically should take them back now as a wonderful wife. She went to the female and said, listen, this is not going to work for me. She said, do you understand what this means when a man comes across a weak or a weaker woman than she, of what the man would be able to do to this woman? He would be able to abuse her, and it would be an abusive relationship. He will abuse that woman and feel justified doing so. Okay? She was not having that. Now, mind you, I've already shared with you. She has told this man, and I'm saying this again to help people that have been abused, that are getting help or needing help, and also getting mental health help. Okay, so after going back to her husband, she let her husband know that she was not having this. She was not going to go through with this. She was not going to deal with this. If he ever decided to do this to her, remember what she said in the beginning. She is death and she would kill him. The husband, for whatever reason, thought, okay, I'm going to stay Muslim, you stay Baptist, we're going to raise our children when we have children. So at the time, they didn't have children together. After a period of time, they had 3 beautiful children, 2 girls and 1 boy. Okay. She raised, or they raised their children in Baptist and Muslim to give their children a choice that they can make for themselves as they get older, which religion they were going to follow after. And after years of marriage, um, that's the way that they condoned and ran their household. She then proceeded to tell me about a story that she went to a family reunion. Okay, now years have gone by, what she said, and the family had not met her or the kids in person. They knew of them, but they did not meet them in person. So at the family reunion, we all know how family reunions are. There's food, there's fun, there's music, there's games. Everybody's coming around, getting to know one another and introducing themselves. I'm your cousin so and so. I'm your aunt this. I'm your uncle that. So there's a little drinking going on. She admitted that she was drinking wine. She said wine is her choice of drink. She loves wine. And so after a period of time, wine starts creating these other spirits that's either already inside you or you bring in towards you, right? So I'm listening to the story, and I said, "Oh boy, this is not going to go well." And it didn't go bad, but it was unexpected. So she goes at a certain point in the reunion, picks up her wine glass, starts tapping it, ding, 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 ding. Hear ye, attention, everyone, attention, everyone. Everyone comes to attention. Just want to make sure that this was still on. Everyone comes to attention, and she says, listen, my name is blankety blank blank, and I am blank's wife. These are our children. These are our kids. She named each one of them. She said, I know you don't know me, but you're about to get to know me. if any of our children come to me, not him, if any of them come to me, Nurse Jekyll, and says that anybody touched them inappropriately, she says, I am going to kill you. She said she is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. That was her introduction to the family. Of course, the place is silent. She's standing there. She's like, okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Nice to meet everybody. You may proceed to continue partying. and and I'm sure it was a little bit of, oh my God, did you hear what she just said? Which one is her kids again? I don't want no parts of it. I'm sure it went down a little bit like that. And she didn't care if she looked or sounded crazy. As a mother, she was okay coming across as this uncouth woman to protect her children amongst people that she didn't know, because her fear, it was what she told me, is she don't know them. She don't know. She says, she's looking at statistics, rapists, murderers, killers, thieves. She doesn't know if any of those types of people, types of characters are amongst or in the family, but she believes that every family has those in it. So even though they didn't give her any recollection, any clue that any of them was thinking, being, exuding that type of behavior, she didn't care. Okay? She was letting them know that this is the way it's going to go down if you mess with her children. And I was like, wow, okay. So I said, that's interesting for you to come to that conclusion, and nobody did anything to provoke you to come to that conclusion. She said they didn't have to. She said, I've been marinated in the game. I said, wow, marinated, huh? Now I know what marinated is from cooking, but in the street term, street language, I also understood, because she's coming from the streets, what marinated meant. That she had been exposed to this type of behavior long enough over time that she also endured this type of behavior to where she understood this is where she got her street knowledge, language, gang. And the bottom line, I said, okay, you have been abused. And yes, she's coming from an abusive relationship. At the age of 14, 15, 16 years old, Nurse Jekyll was abused mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually. And she began to share, once I tapped into that, she thought I had some great foresight. She doesn't know me. We're just meeting in the ER, okay? Um, but she perceived that there was something different about me, that she wanted to share her story. And remember, I said she didn't ask for help directly, but she wanted help for whatever reason. She began to tell me that one of the things that helped her get, as she got older, 17, 18 years old, and why she said she's deaf, because she had to look at her her circumstances and her experience in a different light. Okay, she had to look at her experience and know that that's not what she wanted for her life anymore. She was tired of the beatings. She was tired of the sexual abuse. She was tired of being cast down and looked at as less than. So in the on this particular day of her awakening, this is the story that she shared with me, Nurse Jekyll. She's 17, 18 years old. She's in the house. She's cooking dinner for her so-called man in the household. She said she could always know, she could always feel, she can always tell when he was going to beat her. When he walked in the house, she was in the kitchen. She was cooking. She said she can feel something different again. She said she just looked at him and she can look in his eyes and see that she was about to get abused again. And she said today is a new day. She wasn't having it. She didn't make any sudden moves. She slowly moved in the kitchen where the knives were. She pulled out one of the big long bread knives and she gripped it and she put it down by her side. So he walks in the kitchen. He walks in the kitchen with the look in the eyes. He starts towards her. As he starts towards her, she raises the knife and starts towards him. When she got close enough, before he can hit her, she hits him in the chest. She stabs him in the chest. He turns around, realizes she got the knife, he's been stabbed. He dashes out the door. He's running out the front door. He's running in the yard. He's running down the sidewalk. He's running down the street. The neighbors hear the commotion because for Dr. Jekyll, oh, this is just a Tuesday. Oh, this is just a Thursday. Okay. They're at it again. This time he's yelling. This time he's screaming. This time he's beckoning everybody to get some help. Help, help, help. She's crazy, is what he's yelling out. She's chasing behind him. They take their phones out and they're video recording her chasing him down the street. She catches up with him, knocks him down in the grass, somebody's lawn. Someone else calls the police while they're doing the chase. So she's stabbing him. She's on top of him, cutting him. He's got his arms up. He's blocking. She's cutting him, stabbing him. The police arrived. They pull their guns out on her and they say, "Miss, if you hit him one more time with the knife, we have no choice but to put you down. So please put down the knife or we will shoot you." So she's like in this position is what she showed me. And she's looking around. She has eyes of fury. She's angry. She's not going to let herself be abused by this man anymore. That day, she called herself Death. She put the knife down. They came, took him away in an ambulance, took her to prison, told her later that he had over 72 stitches in his body, his face, his neck, his arms. But she didn't hit any vital organs. She didn't kill him. And that's where the name Death came from. She went to jail. She went to Job Corps after she got out, and she's been working at the hospital for 25 years. They helped her after she got out, rehabilitated her in the Job Corps, gave her some training, gave her some skill sets, and that's where she is now. And she has been able to be successful in this field in her life with her husband for 25 plus years because they was dating before they actually got married. And she said they never had an incident where she had to do any type of violence to him. So the husband learned after day one, after the gun. So she's working at the hospital. In this story, I want to share with you, which was very, very, I would say, mindful of what happens in the workplace, which we all know certain things like this happens in the workplace. But for her, she wanted to share her story. And there was this particular doctor that was pursuing her. She told the doctor, hey, listen, I'm married. You're married. You don't want this smoke. So leave me alone. Go ahead on about your business. I'm just trying to do my job. So this doctor continuously pursued her. He told her, I like the way you look. I like the way you talk. I like the way you dress. She said, thank you, is what she told me, but I am not interested. So this went on for a while. The doctor one day followed her to the mall. At the mall, he showed up. Hello, how are you? How you doing? It's me. Nice meeting you here. It wasn't a coincidence. He followed her. She said, what are you doing here? He said, well, listen, I wanted to talk to you away from the hospital. Now that we're away from the hospital, I can tell you how I truly feel. She said, okay, what's going on? She says, the doctor says, I want to get to know you. I want to spend some time with you. I want to have an extramarital affair with you. Let's cheat, is what he told her. Together, she said, I told you, I'm a happily married woman. You have a wife. I don't want to play this game with you. He persisted. So she said, now her old mentality of death came back on her. And she said, sir, she said, listen, I know you don't want to play this game because you don't know me. You think you do. She said, if we go down this road, you don't want to go down this road with me. She said, because I'm the type of woman who will take your career. She says, you want to have sex with me. And she's being very direct and blunt. She said, I don't care about the sex. That'll happen, boop, boop, boop. The sex will happen. But afterwards, she says, once I get the sex, I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take your bank account. I'm going to take the lifestyle of your kids and give to my kids. I'm going to take your wife. I'm going to take everything from you. And you won't even know what happened. She said, because that's my angle. That's my goal of if we was to go down this road, that's what happened to you. And he's like, oh, no, he's thinking that, no, you just talking. She said, no, I'm not. He says, come on, let me buy you a purse. Come on, let me buy you some new shoes. So they're at the mall. There's some high-end stores that they're in. And they go into the store. She picks out a few dresses, shoes, purses, jewelry. All this stuff came over $2,000, she says, easily. She has several bags. She's walking out the store. The first woman that she ran into coming into the store, she handed this lady all her bags with the receipt in it and said, "Here, today is your lucky day. Have a good one." And she gave all the stuff to this woman that she didn't know. And he's like, "Wait, what are you doing? I just bought this stuff for you." She said, "I told you I'm a happily married woman. If I would accept these things from you, then I'm saying, yes, we can have the affair. And I would have to give you the sex. And then I would have to look for you to want to hurt or kill me later. You know why? Because in her mind, she would go after everything that he had worked for, everything that he think he had kept in finances, the bank accounts, the cars, the houses, everything that he had, she would go after. And she would go after it until she got it all. And then in her mind, she's like, then you would want to kill me because I have totally taken your life. Because again, she is death. Everybody, that blew me away. Um, the fact that she took the time to share all this with me and give me all this intimate detail about herself, about who she is. And she said to me, "I don't want to be this way." And I shared with her, "You don't have to be this way. You don't have to stay this way. Do you really have a true relationship with God, with the Lord?" I'm not talking Baptist tradition. I'm not talking, excuse me, I'm not talking the Holy Quran. Do you have a personal relationship with the Lord, Jesus Christ Almighty, God? And I said it as simple as that. And I said, if you don't, today can be your new day where you can start afresh, you can start anew, and your family will be happy to see the new wife, the new mom that they have. You told me about choices. I'm giving you a choice now. This is the choice of choices for your life. And she made the right choice. She said she wanted a new day. I prayed with her. I prayed for her. Now, I'm very, very mindful and very sensitive in the spirit. God told me, do not let this woman touch me because of transferring of the spirits, which is a real thing. And he would take care of the seed that is planted. Allow her to be who she is, where she is, and we'll go from there. Okay? Which I did. I prayed for her where she stood, and I told her not to touch me. No disrespect, but please don't touch me. And I felt like the mission, I'm trying to get help. The mission was accomplished for what God wanted to do. And at that point, boom, now I can go and get my help. She went on to about her business and finished working on other patients. Now, again, I want to go into a deeper dive of what abuse is, sexual abuse, getting help with being abused in any form of relationship. So, what is abuse? Abusive is anything, anyone trying to have physical, emotional behavior that is an attempt to control that individual. Okay? So, those that have been abused or have experienced abuse, um, there's children all over this world that has had sexual abuse. Millions of adults bear the emotional scars of their abuser. They're they're secretly carrying um, torment, mentally and emotional burden of abuse that, excuse me, that has come upon them, not willingly, but for whatever reason, someone saw them and wanted to control them and wanted to take something from them and pushed their will on them to have control over their mind, body, and spirit. At least that's what they thought. Some people have carried these types of emotional baggage and burden because they don't want to expose the person. They're so concerned about the other person that did the abusing over 20, 30 years. What should we do? How should we go about doing this? Um, you know, children, when they get abused, I mean, that they're so innocent that their hearts um, are so vulnerable and they're so innocent. So when a child is abused, it's a hard and hurting thing for that child to endure and to get over, and it takes time. And one of the things, as I was just sharing, when a child is abused, they have to know immediately at the beginning, it's not your fault. It's never the child's fault. Children are to be taken care of and watched over and loved. Um, and with time, it takes some love, number one, caring, good knowledge, and understanding to overcome what has happened to them. Almost always, the child will believe either they caused it or deserve the abuse, and that is so not the case. That is so not true. Many of them carry the misguided understanding or sense of shame or guilt, even into adulthood. Many of them go on with successful lives, and I'll get to successful. What successful is to many people, because success, in the way that I see it, in a deeper realm, connects with your purpose in this life. Not how much money you have in the bank account, not how many cars you have, not how many houses, not how many ski-doos, sea-doos, how many boats, yachts, whatever, job titles. Those are great things to have, but if it's not part of your purpose, that's just another item that you just received. When you are able to accomplish the things according to your purpose, that's when you truly are successful. So, those that are able to accomplish much and more is great, but it doesn't make that person that didn't accomplish as much as that other one less than. They still are a success in this world. Okay. When we're dealing with an abusive past, there are certain self-adjusted items that humans are able to, we are able to uh, grow from, learn from, identify what works for us to keep from having low self-esteem, to keep from having a lack of confidence, even. um, Depending on how well people can adjust and get treatment and get help, there's a certain level of trust that is taken away, and there's a certain level of trust that gets built up. And depending on how well that particular person receives help, gets help, trust can be grown um, mightily to where they can trust and function well in our society. But trust is not easily given, it's earned. And when it's earned, it shall not be abused, it shall not be taken advantage of. Trust is something that is to be honored and treasured and preserved for each and every one of us. Okay. The extent of which abuse affects individuals varies significantly. Depending on the severity of the abuse, it may take counseling, it may take medicine, it may take mental health therapy. Whatever it is, I highly recommend that people get the help that they need, get the help that they deserve. Because psychologically, emotionally, sometimes even spiritually, it's hard to pray for those who have abused us. Spiritually, it's hard to allow yourself to wish well of that abuser. When the truth of the matter is, when it happens, or when it had happened to that individual, you wish them dead. You wish them hurt. You wish them pain. You wanted them to feel not only what you felt, but worse. Spiritually, God flips things upside down and said, no, I need you to pray for your enemies. I need you to love your enemies. And that's a hard task to do. It's extremely hard without God. But God walks us along the journey hand in hand, arm in arm. And sometimes when we can't walk with him to keep us going on the right track, he carries us because he loves us so much. And he wants us to be in our purpose that he created for his good, and he shall perform it to the day of Jesus Christ's return. So, regardless of what type of childhood abuse or an adulthood abuse that has taken place, they all can, shall, and will pass for better healing. Okay, so let's talk about moving past abusive healing. Okay. Um, One of the first things that is helpful in moving past abusive healing is acknowledging the fact that this happened to you. Okay. That's one of the first things because it helps with healing the emotion that has been put inside of you. You acknowledge that it happened, and what it does, it helps you to um, get past the emotion, accept the fact that it happened, not accept it in a way that, oh, I'm glad it happened, but realize that something traumatic has happened to me and I need help to get rid of it, to get past it, to deal with it. That's one of the first things that should happen. And by acknowledging the emotional abuse that took place, you can experience empowerment for yourself. Okay. This will allow you to acknowledge it and then start seeking help, proper help, support to understand what has impacted you in this particular abusive situation, and ultimately help you to move forward to a healing process. The second thing I would say is seek support. And seeking the support, discussing this with professionals, discussing this with family and friends, and that you can trust and depend on, to not just gossip. You don't want that. You don't need that. But people that can truly help you, uh, remind you of your self worth, who you really are, who God intended you to be, as far as what they know, right? Getting therapy, counseling, seeking professional help from a therapist um, that specialize in trauma and abuse. They can provide a safe space for you, okay, to help you to discuss what truly happened and how you truly feel without judgment, and then giving you certain coping mechanisms to work through the situation that has been thrust upon you, unfortunately. Getting into support groups, okay, that have also been through some of the same things that you've been traumatized with, and have given you that emotional support, giving you validation, understanding um, what you've gone through, okay? Connecting with others who have gone through this similar experience can definitely be a healing process to provide a sense of community. You're not alone. That's one of the things the enemy always tries to do to us as believers, is make us believe or think that it only happened to me, or I'm by myself, or I can't get through this because nobody else will understand. That's a lie. And that's what he has designed to try to push and perpetrate. So you want to get past that and push that. Now, and again, getting support through family, loved ones, and friends. Reach out to the trusted ones that you know that have shown you to be trusted over the period of time. Right? I've talked about trust. It's it's earned. It's not just given. And those who have earned your trust over the years, reach out to them and allow them to help you through any type of emotional um, issues that may still be lingering. Okay, it's okay to cry on somebody's shoulders. I tell people all the time, I got big, broad shoulders. So please, when the time comes when it's necessary, use them. Um, yeah, I've always tried to be a safe place to people to help them get through some difficult times. Another thing that I want to share and give to those who are far, far away, or may not know, well, where do I go? Who do I call? I don't want to talk to family members about it. That's okay. That's fine. There are hotlines to help you through this, and I'll put the numbers on the screen for you. There's National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's a 1-800 number, 1-800-700-7233, or there's an 800-799-SAFE. 800-799-SAFE. And they reach out to them and they will be able to help you, um, listen to you, and get you what you need that would make you be comfortable. Okay. Self care. I still do self care for myself. Um, Having certain activities that promote healing um, within myself for good well-being. I take nice walks. I like to work out. Um, I periodically will get a massage to emotionally and mentally, and sometimes physically, after a good workout. It's a downtime for me that I do some self-care. Exercise, creating different outlets for myself. I love to fish and I love to golf, right? So golfing is something that I like to get out And I don't have to be with a bunch of people. Sometimes I just go to the golf course and just hit a few rounds, um, just to take the mental and emotional and stress away, right? Um, Spending time in nature. Sometimes Marcine and I will go to they have the Dallas Arboretum. They have Fort Worth Arboretum. We'll go and look at the beautiful flowers. Sometimes we'll go to every now and then uh, to the aquarium. I like fish. I like tropical things. Growing up in New Orleans, there's water and the Gulf and fish and fishing that we would do pretty often. Here in Dallas, Texas, there's places to go, but not like in New Orleans. And then here, I would go more on like chartered boats where catch the big fish and get out there. You pay a certain fee, um, something like that. Sometimes at least helps bring me back to a place where I enjoy the water. Okay. Um, when I seek support, you know, I also try to get specific guidance sometimes of what can I do, how am I looking from the outside in, because sometimes we have our own thoughts of how we're doing, and sometimes we're not doing as well as we think we are. So getting out with support to share what 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 it looks like to them, and then um, getting that outside support from people that I respect that will share with me the truth and validate where I am, where I'm not. I also have certain boundaries that I set for myself to help with when you hear certain support or when you hear certain feedback. Some people will say things where they think they and I had this experience just this last week, um, where someone, I wasn't necessarily asking them for support, just sharing with them. And sometimes what I do with people that I'm not sure of is like a hot stove, right? So I'll stick my hand out a little bit just to touch to see how hot it is or if I'm going to get burned. And this particular person, she went off and started talking about how she has a right to her opinion, and she felt like she could say whatever she wanted to say, but it wasn't a safe place, and it was only a gratification for her because of what she's lacking. She needed to feel like she can bolsterize herself, and it didn't matter who was around, it didn't matter what the situation was. She just wanted to be able to comment and say whatever she felt she wanted to get off her chest. And most of the times when she speaks negative, and this was a negative time where she spoke something negative. And of course, I've learned to get a callus against people like that, specifically people that I know that are toxic, and she falls in that category by volition of her own. And it doesn't matter, over time she still needs help in healing herself, right? So anyways, so be careful with certain people. It doesn't mean that you're weak when you're trying to get help, when you're seeking help. It actually shows that you're strong and you're courageous, because you're not settling for what has happened. You're not settling for today's achievement. You're continuously pressing, stepping towards the mark of the high calling. You're continuously trying to put your best foot forward so you can be the best you can be. So something else I would say is practicing the self-care with the boundaries. Recognize who you can get help with, recognize your surroundings, recognize true support. Because when it's not true, when you hear it, you know if it's not good for you. If it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't sound good, it's probably not good. It was probably something, for whatever reason, that particular person said what they want to say, and in thinking that it's okay for them to voice their opinion, it doesn't mean that you have to accept it. Bottom line. So, self compassion, be gentle and kind to yourself when you're experiencing certain things or feeling a certain way, especially at night. The enemy comes to us at night to try to make us feel worse than than things are. So have compassion about yourself. Treat yourself well, give yourself some empathy, allow yourself to understand um, what you're going through, and give yourself some time. Um, Acknowledge your feelings without judgment. I'm not feeling good today. I'm having a bad moment today. Today, for whatever reason, when I woke up, it's taken me a little bit more energy to get to that place where I feel good about me today. And that's okay. That's fine. Um, be mindful um, of just being breathing techniques and relaxation. One of the things that one of the doctors told me with my breathing, I have to help with anxiety and breathing. And he said, you want to breathe through your nostrils and exhale through your mouth. And he said, think of it this way. And this has helped me. He said, smell the roses and blow out the candles. Smell the roses and blow out the candles. That exercise has helped me tremendously. So please take some time for relaxation. That's just a small tip to just keep yourself calm when there's trauma or drastic situations happening or that has happened. Okay. Produce healthy habits. I like to cook as well. So, healthy habits, I like, especially with today's time with foods and processes and stuff like that. You want to do nutritious foods, foods that is going to help you and help your body. One of the things that I've gone to nutritionists to try to figure out what works well with my body. Okay. Um, Certain foods, certain vegetables, certain drinks works well with my body, and then some of them that don't. Of course, salt, sodium, can't do it. Um, so just be mindful of that. Um, you want to be able to have outlets where you can freely express yourself, right? Whether it's writing a letter, writing a poem, doing art, listening to music, creating music. You may not be a producer, but you may like to create some music, create beats, dance, connecting with different dance groups. A lot of people, I enjoy watching people dance, whether it's tango, whether it's hip hop, whether it's ballet, whatever it is. I like dance. I've always liked dance. You want to identify your triggers. Once you identify what sets you off, what may put you in a bad mood, what may put you in a bad state, what make you go back down a bad rabbit hole. You want to try to avoid certain triggers that would make you feel like you're less than because of what has happened to you. Okay. Um, we all have them, especially if you've had. It doesn't have to be major traumatic, but if something bad or negative has happened to you in your life, which if you live past 20, live past 30, live past 50, live past 80, you have experienced something that you didn't like in your lifetime. So just identify those triggers and try to avoid them to the point to where when you do come across them, you're able to be strong enough to deal with those particular triggers, right? Now, one of the things I want to say with people that have been in counseling for 15, 20, 30, 50 years, self care is an ongoing process, it's an ongoing practice, it's a healthy practice to help you identify life and life journey. And when I say ongoing practice, self care, therapy, counseling, it's a good practice to have. It helps you deal with yourself, it helps you to identify and strengthen patience, consistency of self comparison. Because, especially men, we start um, being in competition, healthy competition. We want to be better. We want to do better for ourselves. And sometimes, unfortunately, we look at what the other person has been able to accomplish and what the other person has been able to do. And sometimes that helps to motivate us to say, you know what, I got to get on my game and try to do better. And that's okay. That's healthy. And the self care and nurturing yourself for years is a good thing. I recommend it. It's something that I've been doing for years. Even though I help other people, I look for others who can help me as well. Okay, so remember that and enjoy your life. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy um, being able to get up and go after something new today. Okay, um, when we're able to do that, we can find ourselves in a place where not only do we achieve something good, we may achieve something great. Okay, so let's talk about developing coping skills, right? After experiencing some emotional abuse, it's essential for managing difficult emotions, reducing stress, and building resilience to be able to have good coping skills. So, some good coping skills is emotional regulation, practicing certain techniques to give you emotions such as deep breathing, which I just talked about, exercise, working out, progressive muscle relaxation, stretching, visualization techniques, learning to identify and manage intense emotions can help you feel more in control, and reduce the impact of triggers, right? So, next, I would say cognitive reading, cognitive reconstruction, cognitive thinking, cognitive critical thinking, um, replacing self critical thinking with bad, distorted thoughts, like I just mentioned about the specific lady who, for whatever reason, always is having some negative thoughts. But people like her needs further cognitive behavior therapy. So that's something which is called CBT, um, to help her with her situation. Do some self-soothing activities, right? Engage in activities that provide comfort and relaxation that fits for you. Something as simple as taking a warm, hot bubble bath will be soothing. Listening to soft, soothing music. I love to listen to jazz. Um, that helps me to relax. It puts me in a good, calm mental state. Um, Fun, bebop, hip hop, pop music. I like doing that when I'm cutting the grass, right? Because it got stuff going on, gives you energy, boom, boom, boom. But when I just want some soothing, relaxing times for myself, I'm taking a nice bubble bath. Jazz music is the place where I like to go. Be mindful of grounding techniques, right? So, mindful techniques to help you with your daily routine, um, whether it's going pick up groceries for the family, planning a cooking. You may be doing some yard work. I like to do yard work and keep the flower bed looking nice. You may do gardening. Whatever that is, that helps keeps you grounded to who you are and what you like to do. Sometimes for me, excuse me, sometimes for me, I like just taking my shoes off and just walking in the backyard in the grass. The earth is a healing mechanism, and there's something true to that energy that comes from the earth and walking in the earth. It helps keeps me a gives me a sense of calmness and reflection. And especially if I have my headphones on and if I'm listening to ministry or listening to some jazz, this is something that keeps me calm. Walking um, in the grass definitely keeps me calm. Um, Seeking social support, reaching out to support groups, as I mentioned before, family and friends. Um, I reached out to my sister this morning. Uh, she helps ground me. She helps keep me calm. She helps remind me of who I am, just in just simple conversations. And I love her for that. But that's she's one of the people that helps keeps me grounded and regulated and know, hey, this is what's going on with you, Jay. So she'll kicks me in the pants if I need to, but in a loving way. She's never been uh, derogatory, vulgar, or anything like that. But just if she feel like I'm being too hard on myself, sometimes I do that. She'll remind me of the man that I am, and say, okay, now let's just move forward now. Okay. Um, Creative expression, exploring creative outlets such as writing. I mentioned art, um, and helping with overcoming certain traumatic expressions in a different way. Because especially if it's something that you've never done before, um, writing, doing artwork, listening to music, being creative in a way that helps you is going to help you. Okay. Um, One of the things that I try my best to do when I set certain boundaries and having a sense of self worth is, I try to communicate clearly um, to others around me to so they'll know exactly where I am, what I'm feeling, um, especially when I'm going to counseling or a therapist myself. I like to take the time, a few minutes, to say, hey, this is what has happened to me since the last time we talked, or this week, especially if it's something that was dramatic to me, not traumatic, but just dramatic. Man, I went to the grocery store. This lady ran over my foot with the basket. She didn't apologize. She acted like she didn't see me. I'm 6'1", and she just bumped me and kept going. And it's like, come on, lady. I know you see me, but for whatever reason, she she didn't care that it did hurt, didn't care how I felt. Um, and so, for whatever reason, I don't know what was going on in her day, but I couldn't allow her behavior to ruin my day. So sometimes what I like for people to to do, and what I do for myself is create certain I statements to express my needs. I feel this way. I was upset about what she did. I didn't like how she treated me. Not blaming, not criticizing, um, but being firm and consistent that, you know what, I did not like how she treated me. That wasn't fair. Sometimes what helps me is I'll say a prayer for her, even if she didn't necessarily, I feel, or I felt that maybe she didn't deserve it. But again, the Bible said pray for our enemies. Not saying that she became an enemy. She became an enemy of my emotions. She became an enemy of my feelings, but and my physical body in pain. So at that moment, I did not like her. Okay, not that I had any hate against her, but you got it. You understand what I'm saying. So I create these I statements to identify. You know what? I did not like that. Period. Okay. When you share certain things with people, personal hurt experiences, it's been my experience that you need to prepare yourself for resistance because everybody is not going to want to hear, especially when you're a person that looks to be having it going on. Okay, I'll say it like that. They don't think that you have any problems or any issues or anything. What's a problem to you? They look at it, that ain't nothing. Shoot, help me pay my rent, help me pay my light bill. Well, that's a different situation and that's a different issue. That does not negate the fact that this person has gone through something or is going through something. Um, so when that happens, just prepare yourself to have some pushback, and they may not understand, but stay firm in your stance of how of what you believe in, what you've been going through, and be prepared to just share some of the pushback. It's not fair to you, um, and you never know what that person may be going through themselves that particular day or that time. Um, so just know that everybody's not going to be understanding. They're not going to be understanding all the time when you share what has happened to you. Okay, and that's okay. Give them a pass, and you just move on. Practice self advocacy, being an advocate of your right in specific situations like I just mentioned. Even though it may be uncomfortable, even though it may be a challenge, it's your right to feel good about you. That's your right. You know, and it's okay if they don't get it. You've shared your trauma, you've shared your truth, you've communicated it, and for whatever reason they still don't get it. That's okay. You get that out of you, and again, this is acknowledging the fact that you're taking steps to become a better you. Okay. Sometimes people, one of the things that people do all the time is ask you for things, ask you for support. Can you do this for me? Will you do this for me? Go and do this for me. Listen, when I learned the word no and know that it's okay to say the word no and practice saying the word no to people, it freed me of a lot of unnecessary heartache and pain. It was two letters. No, I'm not doing this. No, I can't do this. No, I'm not giving you this. It freed me and it helped put me in a better place and it helped create good boundaries, healthy boundaries because I'm not the come all, get all, one all. I love helping people, but I have to have limitations and boundaries for myself. You know, in the Bible, it talks about when God pours into your cup runneth over. There's a saucer that catches the liquid at the bottom. What I try to do is not give from my cup that runneth over. I try to give from my saucer that is the extra. So that way I have room for God's plan that's in the cup, not deplenishing everything that came from the saucer. So let that be a good tip for you. That's something that has helped me. Okay. Um, remember to retain your personal happiness in out of all of everything that you're doing, um, to get happiness to healing, healing to happiness. If someone hurts you, this doesn't mean you must give over your personal happiness. You don't have to. Sometimes, and what I'm talking to you to do right now is fight back to get your happiness, because whatever the hurt was, whether it was intentional or not, it hurt you. You felt that. Your emotions, your thoughts, your physical being felt that. Okay. Um, if someone have shown you abuse that comes across abusive, um, in this particular case, what happened with me last week with this particular lady, her words are always negative and abusive to me. So one of the things that I do in dealing with her, I limit my contact with her. I limit any interactions with her as much possible. In that particular situation, she only had 5 minutes of my time, but because she's so toxic, in that 5 minutes, she was true to who she is. Okay, I already knew that. I already had my limits, and I said, "God bless you. Good night. I'm done. I'm out." That's my cue to move. So love and find joy in who you are. Please, please love and find joy in who you are. And I would say, let's be good. Let's dare to even be great. What I wanted to share with you guys, I wrote a poem regarding um, friendship and being with the ones you love. And I wrote this poem years ago, and I just want to share it with you guys. I need to know if you're a true friend. Will you be by my side through thick and thin until the very end? Can I tell you my secrets and so deep that you keep, and trust with confidence in your heart you truly keep? Neither of us is without our flaws. Okay? Can you accept my dysfunctions as I shall yours? I'll be a shoulder to cry on when you're sad and blue. Will you be there for me when I truly need you? No matter how busy I am, I shall make time for you. You're my friend. When you are busy along this, sorry, when you are busy traveling along this journey, will you make time for me too? When pain and hurt hits me, I will take your hand and comfort your tears. Can I count on you to hold me, comfort me, and quiet my fears? I promise to share my joy in many warm smiles. When we travel across this country, can we continue to share and bring each other smiles? I will not forget what's important to you. Will you remember what's important to me too? With you, my most favorite things I'll share. It's important to me that I can trust that you truly, truly care. With all that I give and all that I am, I want to be the person that I can. If you can accept me as I do you, then I will know you are a friend who is most true. True friendship, true friendship is indeed built on mutual acceptance and understanding. When we can be ourselves around someone, flaws and all, then then we still can embrace each other. It's a sign of deep and meaningful connection. Trust and authenticity. Trust and authenticity are the pillars of such friendship. My family, loved one, and friends, I share this with you to give you just a part of me to help with abuse, mental health, and emotions that we all can overcome with given the help, the prayers, the time, the ability to pour into one another as we march arm in arm across this journey in life. I bless you. I give you all that I have. Thank you again for watching another segment with Johnny B. Sanders, Truth and Life. This has been a joy and a pleasure for me. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And please, again, click on the like, share the video. Let's get some subscribers in here. And I want to just say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And again, let's be good and let's dare to be great. See you next time.